We'll tear your soul apart. Be my victim. But the prime time, bitch!
The Leprechaun franchise is one of horror's strangest long-running series. It's got bad sequels, worse sequels, and some guilty pleasures sprinkled in between. Whether he's terrorizing Las Vegas, traveling through space, or wreaking havoc in the hood, our little green menace has had quite the journey. Today, we're ranking every Leprechaun movie from worst to best. Let's just get right into it. You know what a Leprechaun movie should probably have? A leprechaun. This soulless reboot took everything fun about the franchise and replaced it with a generic monster that just so happens to have the Leprechaun name slapped on it. Warwick Davis, gone. The humor, gone. Any sense of fun, also gone. Instead of a mischievous, wisecracking villain, we get a mindless, barely seen creature that looks like it wandered in from a rejected Silent Hill concept. It's the cinematic equivalent of being handed a pot of fool's gold. I get what this movie was going for, mixing humor and hip-hop culture with a goofy little killer, but man, it just did not work for me. The humor falls flat, the kills are uninspired, and even Ice-T's presence doesn't save it from being straight up whack. There's an attempt at social commentary buried somewhere under the cheap production value and questionable writing, but it never comes together. This movie needed more charm and a lot less of whatever it was trying to go for. A Leprechaun movie set in Las Vegas sounds fun on paper, right? The City of Greed seems like a perfect playground for our gold-obsessed villain, but in execution, it got the worst story in the series. The plot really feels thrown together with random elements like a cursed coin, body transformation, and half-baked humor. Warwick Davis still has his fun, and the setting gives it a bit of a flair, but the story, man, about as lucky as a broken slot machine. Look, I don't think any horror franchise really benefits from going to space unless it starts there. Jason X, I'm looking at you. I'm just joking, I love that movie. Leprechaun 4 is a movie that defies all logic. The sci-fi elements are pure garbage, the plot is absurd, and the CGI at the very end is laughably bad. And yet, somehow, it's entertaining in a what the hell am I watching kind of way. Warwick Davis fully leans into the ridiculousness, giving us a villain that is still having fun, even if the audience isn't really sure what exactly they're watching. Now, did I think a sequel to Leprechaun in the Hood was necessary? Absolutely not. But somehow, Back to the Hood turned out to be an even better film. It feels like the filmmakers actually learned from the mistakes of the first one. The comedy lands a little bit better, the kills are pretty decent, and overall it's a more watchable than its predecessor. It's still ridiculous and the premise is just as questionable, but at least it's an improvement that is more entertaining. Oh, this movie. Okay, I got mixed feelings because the acting, bad, the story, stretched way too far, but Warwick Davis, once again, carrying the entire damn film on his little green shoulders. Leprechaun 2 tries to expand on the mythology, giving our villain a bizarre backstory about a bride and some convoluted leprechaun rules. It doesn't entirely work, but at least it still feels like a horror movie, with some comedy sprinkled in, unlike the complete nonsense that would come later. Plus, it does have one of the more memorable kills in the franchise to me. A dude getting tricked into making out with a fan blade? Yikes. For the first time since the original, this one actually felt like a Leprechaun movie. It's a direct sequel to the first film, ignoring all the nonsense that came in between. While Warwick Davis isn't back, the actor they have replacing him does a solid job in the role. The humor works, the kills are entertaining, and it brings back that fun, campy tone that made the original work so well. It's not a masterpiece by any stretch of the imagination, but for this franchise, it's honestly one of the best. It is what it is, and it knows exactly what it is. The first Leprechaun movie is by no means a horror classic, but it is fun, ridiculous, and has Warwick Davis fully embraced in the role. The balance between horror and comedy is a little shaky. Leaning into the full horror might have made it a little bit stronger, but I do think that since they had Warwick Davis, it did work pretty well. It is easily the best of the bunch. Plus, it gave us Jennifer Aniston's feature film debut, which is a fun little trivia fact. The Leprechaun franchise is really one hell of a ride, and it's not always a fun one. Between all the bizarre sequels, space adventures, and failed reboots, there's something weirdly charming about Warwick Davis cracking his way through all of them. Whether you love them or hate them, these movies have carved their own little way into the niche history of horror. But what do you guys think? How would you rank this franchise? Whatever it is, leave it in the comments below, let me know. And if you liked this video, or if you didn't like this video, hit that thumbs up button, that subscribe button, and that notification bell to stay up to date with all the horror content I have coming your way. Stay scared, stay safe, and I'll see you in the next one.